I want to quickly talk to you about personal lines of credit that pull Equifax.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging in the beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about personal lines of credit that pull Equifax. Okay, so number 5, we have First Citizens Bank. Our score 8.1 over 10. So basically, with First Citizens Bank, they don't have an actual, I would say, line of credit information on the website, but you can actually apply for this kind of products if you are currently a customer. So you can apply at a branch or over the phone. So no information is available publicly on the bank's website. So what we have seen, and based on our research and based on our conversation with First Citizens Bank, is that the bank runs in select markets a line of credit program as an invite-only scheme. So if you qualify, they will they'll actually send you a pre-qualification, let's say, mail, okay, so that you are basically, you know that you are invited, okay, into the program. And so to qualify, you need to have a multi-product relationship with the bank. In other words, you have to be an existing First Citizens Bank customer. You have to have a history of no NSF, non-sufficient funds, for 5 years. So you got to have a clean banking record with the institution. You got to have at least direct deposit into one account with First Citizens Bank. And they're not asking you to have 100% of your pay with them, but they want to see something. Okay, and it's part of their strategy to deepen their relationship with you before giving you the line of credit that you're looking for. You need to earn at least $18,000 a year, and you need to justify the use of loan proceeds. You need to explain what you're going to use the line of credit for. So this is really important. So one thing we kind of love is that their personal line of credit program is kind of similar to their loan program. Okay, so the maximum approval here, $50,000. Okay, and the APR is variable based on credit worthiness. And what we love is that again, when we talk about First Citizens Bank, we are speaking about competitive rates. So you can qualify for a very competitive annual percentage rate for your line of credit. They have a variety of rates, okay? So rates may be fixed or variable depending on your credit. Usually a line of credit has a revolving APR, but depending on your situation, First Citizens Bank can actually set you up on a fixed APR pattern, okay? And you can actually have a secured or unsecured personal line of credit with First Citizens Bank, okay? It's totally up to you. If you have the right collateral and you have the right relationship and they have invited you into their program, you can qualify, not a problem. Number 4, we have here BMO Harris. Our score 8.6 over 10. And the kind of program, the kind of personal line of credit program that BMO Harris runs is pretty cool. I mean, we love the fact that they're always there for clients. If you have questions, you just have to call 1-888-340-2265. 1-888-340-2265, or you can visit a branch, okay? And the APR on the personal line of credit starts at 13%, okay? And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about BMO Harris, remember that we are geographically limited here. We have a geo restriction strategy here. So are you in Arizona? Are you in Florida? Are you in Illinois? Are you in Indiana? Are you in Kansas? Are you in Minnesota? Are you in Missouri? Are you in Wisconsin? So those are the states that BMO Harris covers, okay? And if you're not in those states, then you would not qualify. One thing I want to say here is that you can use a line of credit from BMO Harris to take care of home improvements, emergency funds, okay, as an emergency fund just in case something happens. You can use the cash to consolidate your debt, to plan that next perfect wedding that you want to have. You can take care of education expenses. You can manage your cash flows. So the application process for a BMO Harris line of credit is pretty simple. You can call or visit a branch to apply. They do not allow you to apply via their websites, okay? It's because they want to ask you a few questions before qualifying you, before approving you. So you get personalized help as BMO Harris works through your application with you, okay? And you get approved to access your funds within 3 days. So everything is really fast, okay? So here is what you need to apply. You need to have personal identification with your current address. Very important. You want to enter some little information about your income, about how much you need, and they will estimate the amount you can expect to get for a line of credit, okay? And so you also need to think about your DTI, your debt to income ratio. You need to think about your relationship with BMO Harris. You got to have a relationship with them, because we are always talking about, when we talk about personal line of credit, we are systematically and reflexively talking about relationship banking, okay? And by the way, I was talking to you earlier about a number of states in which you have to live or do business with. Actually, if you have an online business, you can qualify for a BMO Harris account. This is not a problem, okay? So you don't have to live geographically in those states, but if you live, let's say in New York, for instance, but you have an online account and somehow you are able to have a BMO Harris checking account or business checking accounts, you could qualify for a personal line of credit, okay? So this is really important. Number 3, we have Fifth Third Bank. Our score, 9/10. So when you think about Fifth Third Bank, I want you to think about a bank that is constantly innovating. We love Fifth Third Bank because they have not only a variety of business loans and lines of credit, personal loans and lines of credit products, but they're constantly innovating. So when we talk about their unsecured line of credit, you are able to access funds when you need it with no collateral required. Okay, so here, Fifth Third is really generous here. You have line amounts from $5,000 to $100,000. Okay, up to 10% of verified liquid assets. In other words, you got to show BMO Harris, you got to show, not BMO, you got to show Fifth Third Bank that you have verified liquid assets. This could be cash, it could be money in your checking accounts, in your savings account, in your money market accounts. It could be cash in your CD, certificate of deposits, okay? And with Fifth Third Bank, you have a 5-year draw period followed by a 10-year repayment period, okay? So the draw period allows you to actually use the cash the way you need it. But once you get into the repayment period, you have no longer access to the cash. You have to repay whatever you tapped onto the card while you were in the drawing period, okay? And you have an APR that goes from 7.75% to 9.25%. So when you compare that to the 13% I told you earlier about BMO Harris, you can see the delta here. There's a huge delta. So Fifth Third is really competitive in terms of APR. And the only thing is they do charge you every year an annual fee. They charge you a fee of $65. Then annual fee is waived the first year, very important. And your funds are available via online transfer, checks, phone, or in a branch. Very important to know. So this is for the unsecured line of credit. And Fifth Third Bank also run a program whereby they grant you a secured line of credit. So if you have the appropriate, let's say the appropriate collateral, and you want to use it to secure the line of credit, they're willing to work with you on that. But the funds will be secured. So the line of credit will be secured by funds in your Fifth Third savings, CD, or investment accounts. Okay, so you have ongoing access to this line of credit while your assets continue to grow. So the line of credits amount in this secured program range from $5,000 to $500,000. So you got to have between 50% to 10 to 100% of collateral. You have a 20-year draw period with balance due and maturity, and you have interest-only monthly payments. Okay, and the APR here is pretty low. So you have 5.5% to 8.25%. And this line of credit program has no annual fee, and funds are available via online transfer, checks, phone, or in branch. One thing I want to say is if you have more questions, you want to know more, please call 1-866-671-5353. So you can schedule an appointment also. So just call 866-671-5353. Number 2, folks, we were still talking about personal lines of credit that pull Equifax. Number 2, we have Truist. Our score 9.2 over 10. So when you think about Truist, you're thinking about a bank that is constantly innovating. We love that, and we love the fact that Truist has their customer services is just fantastic, stellar. They will work with you. They will try to understand your needs. They will ask you all kinds of questions. But again, the process is it's very simple. It's very quick. Okay, it'll probably take 10 to 15 minutes depending on the line of credit amount that you need. Okay, and they have a personal line of credit which is unsecured. So you're not actually pledging any kind of assets, okay? And so you can apply online or you can apply by phone if you have a Truist account. You got to have a Truist account anyway, okay, to qualify for this line of credit. And so the number here is 844-487-8478. So the number is 844-487-8478. So you can have more information about the line of credit from Truist. One thing I want to say here is that the minimum credit line is $5,000. The maximum, actually, we have seen people approved for a $500,000 line of credit. Obviously, you got to have the relationship with Truist to qualify for that, that high amount. But yeah, it is what it is. So the minimum is $5,000, and there is no fee for application, cash advance or annual fees, okay? And the variable rates are a little high compared to Fifth Third Bank, so you are looking at 10.74% minimum, okay? And so if you want to have the lowest rate, you better have excellent credit. But an excellent credit is not required to have this line of credit in the first place. It's just that your APR will oscillate based on your credit worthiness, okay? So when you think about this Truist line of credit, you are thinking about fast decisions and same-day funding. This is just fantastic. Think about that. Okay, and you can access your cash with Truist online banking and mobile app. Okay, so when you think about this kind of line of credit from Truist, this is great if you are trying to get revolving access to cash, you are trying to add extra purchasing power to your balance sheet, and you are trying to be ready for unplanned expenses. Okay, so this is what it is. And one thing we love with Truist, as I said before, we just love their stellar customer service. They will work with you. They will basically guide you. They will explain to you how this thing works. They will tell you how much you need to pay every month. They will help you analyze your financial situation to see if you could qualify for a line of credit and how much you could qualify for, because they do have a draw period as other banks. They also have a repayment period. So they want to make sure that when it comes time for repaying the line of credit, you are in a better financial position. You are in a stronger financial position. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We're also having a conversation about personal lines of credit that pull Equifax. And number one, the best of the best, in our view, KeyBank. Our score, 9.7 over 10. I mean, KeyBank is really, really winning. They are winning the race here. They do have what we call the KeyBank preferred credit line. Okay, so this is actually a great line of credit. So that goes from $2,000 to $25,000. And KeyBank is really fast at approving credit lines. That's what we love. They have excellent customer service. They have a constellation of tools or calculator tools on their website to help you make the right decision about your line of credit. Okay, their APRs are kind of decent. They do offer flexible payment options. There is no annual fee. We love that. There is no collateral needed. This is an unsecured line of credit. It's called KeyBank Preferred Credit Line. Okay, and you can manage your line of credit in your app, in the KeyBank app, online or through your smartphone, through your desktop, through your tablets and whatnot. So one thing I want to say here is that you can actually use this preferred credit line for anything, including overdraft protection. You just need to have a KeyBank checking account. Okay, you have flexible payment options, including automatic payments. Okay, and you have many ways to access your line of credit through online banking transfers, unlimited check writing, branch teller transactions. This is really good. So you need to actually be 18 years of age or older. You need to live within the following states, because the KeyBank, again, is geographically restricted. So there's some geo restriction elements here. So you got to live in Arkansas. Sorry, you got to live in Arkansas. You got to live in in Colorado, in Connecticut, Idaho, Indiana, Massachusetts, Maine, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Utah, Vermont, or Washington State. Okay, and you need to provide some kind of information to key banks so they can actually verify your employment, your income level, and you need to authorize the bank to investigate information on the application. So they have to do a hard pull. And so, in addition to the Key Bank Preferred Credit Line, they also have the Key Bank Credit Line, the Key Basic Credit Line. Okay, so the Key Basic Credit Line is just a personal unsecured line of credit. The amounts here are smaller, so the loan amounts go from $250 to $5,000. This is good because it allows you to actually make purchases unexpectedly. If you take care of unexpected expenses, pay bills, or set up overdraft protection, so you are prepared for what comes up. Okay, and this is really good. So no collateral is required. You can borrow up to your loan amount, repay and borrow again. Okay, so the qualification, if you want to qualify for this Key Basic Credit Line, the qualifications are kind of similar to the Key Bank Preferred Credit Line. Okay, so you got to live in the same states I talk about and make sure that you are basically you are able to verify your employment and your income. Very important. I want to talk to you now about something very important. Let me just have an overall conversation here about what we talk about, a line of credit. So whether the line of credit pulls Equifax or Experian or TransUnion, we got to be in a situation where we really understand what we're talking about. So a personal line of credit gives you ongoing access to a line of credit that you can borrow against whenever you need to. Okay, you incur no interest and make no payments until you use your line. So best of all, you only pay interest on what you have borrowed, and as you pay down your line, you can borrow again and again up to your available credit limits without having to apply. Okay, so if you want to qualify for a personal line of credit, you want to make sure that you maintain a FICO score of minimum 600, that you are able to verify your employment, you're able to verify your income, that you are in a situation to repay whatever you charge on the card. Okay, and there might be some fees associated with their line of credit depending on the bank you applied at. Okay, this could be $25 or $65 and whatnot. The only thing is the fees can be annual or a one-time. Okay, and one thing you need to understand is that you can actually, so once your line of credit closes, you can access the funds through several ways. The bank might send you checks. They might actually open a separate accounts for you in which they transfer the line of credit amounts, and you can tap into that line when you need it. Okay, and so the thing is, you have different uses for a line of credit. It's totally up to you. So if you have projects with funding challenges, okay, let's say your son's marriage comes up, your niece's, your daughter's marriage comes up, you need some cash. Things they're not like they're off project, they happen once in a while. You might need a line of credit for that. If you are someone with irregular income, you are trying to actually make ends meet, you might need a line of credit. You can take a line of credit to care about emergency situations. Okay, tax bill comes the same time the credit card bills are due, along with college tuition for your child. You have a lot of stuff going on. A line of credit can help you. A line of credit can also help you for overdraft protection. So if you are a frequent check writer with unstable income, a line of credit can serve as a backup when you need overdraft protection. Or if you see a business opportunity, stuff happen, and if you have the cash there to take care of the business opportunity, this is a great way to actually be in a better financial position. And the cool thing is, you don't have to apply at the last minute to get the cash you need. You have already applied for that line of credit. Let me give you a few pro tips that you need to understand, and I want you to keep those tips with you when you actually apply for a personal line of credit that pulls Equifax or another credit bureau. There are some problems with personal lines of credit. I mean, a line of credit is similar to a loan, is a credit product. And you got to understand, you need to be in a situation where you are able to pay it back. And you have to pay attention to, so the first thing is you have to be able to pay it back. And the second thing is you got to think about your credit utilization ratio. In other words, you don't want to tap into too much fund, a large portion of the line of credit and not be able to repay it. So it's all about striking the right balance between your payment ability and your DTI, or your debt to income ratio, or your credit utilization ratio. And also, in some cases, maybe a secured line of credit is better for you as opposed to an unsecured line of credit. Everything hinges on the quality of the collateral you want to pledge to get the line of credit. This is really important. Okay, so we have seen APRs that go as low as 5.5% if you have an unsecured line of credit. I mean, if you have a secured line of credit, and if you have APR that starts at 13% if you have an unsecured line of credit. So I want you to think about that. Okay, so think also about the fact that there are revolving versus non-revolving lines of credit. I mean, generally, when people think about a line of credit, they're thinking about a revolving credit products. That is true. That is generally true. But depending on the arrangement you have with your bank, you can have a non-revolving line of credit. We have seen it. Some of our team members have that kind of line of credit. It totally depends on your financial situation, and it depends on your financial goals. Okay, and so I also want you to think about the fact that there are other revolving credit sources. So let's not forget the credit cards. Credit cards are also revolving credit products. Okay, and you also have what? HELOC, a home equity line of credit. This also is a powerful line of credit. Okay, the only thing is a HELOC is a totally different product that I'm not going to cover in today's conversation. But if you have questions about a HELOC, you can certainly drop us that question below, and we'll certainly answer you. So one thing you need to understand is that you have other sources of getting the loan, of taking care of emergencies. Okay, and so besides the lines of credit, some people actually love payday loans. The only thing is payday loans have a very high APR, and some lenders are not really recommendable. So you got to think about how to always buttress your financial situation to make sure that if you have an emergency, you have the right resources to take care of that emergency. Before I close today's conversation, I really want to acquaint you with our loan evaluation approach. We have a rigorous method on this show when it comes to evaluating, categorizing, and listing lines of credit. Check this out. Let's quickly recap here. So here are the 5 personal lines of credit that pull Equifax. So number 1, we have KeyBank, 9.7 over 10. Number 2, we have Truist, 9.2 over 10. Number 3, we have Fifth Third Bank, 9 over 10. Number 4, we have BMO Harris, 8.6 over 10. Number 5, we have First Citizens Bank, 8.1 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.